Hello everyone, this is Bradley. So today this is a tutorial talking about this flower land animation. I've talked about the basic principle of dynamic surface sampling in the past. So today is essentially just to talk about the preset usage to speed up the workflow. So let's start. So here we in Blender, let's create a plane. Everything is really straightforward other than dynamic surface sampling. So we just create a procedural grid so that you can subdivide as many as you want. Let's just make it 5, 5 and as much subdivision as you can tolerate. And then we set the position. I want to create a sine function. I think in the original commercial animation, they are not using sine function, but just for simplicity, we're going to do this. And I'm going to take a position node and separate x, y, z. So I'm using this z value to drive this sine function. So we combine x, y, z and put this sine function into the z axis and we offset that. So now this is what we're getting, and you can actually see this sine wave. Okay, and you can increase the frequency, decrease the frequencies, increase the amplitude, decrease the amplitude. Everything is very straightforward. You can also make it remap 0 to 1. There are many settings you can play around, but generally they are not really important. What's important is what if I want to rotate it? Then you just take a vector rotate. So you are not rotating this plane, but you are rotating this evaluation so that the sine function is being rotated. Okay, so as long as you get such kind of results, then it should be just fine. And then you just use some time factor to animate this face. Then you get this kind of waving pattern. So next is to instance points. So we take a point distribute because I want to set the amount of my instances. And for the moment, I'm going to just use this random object collection and set that to origin, separate children's. We plug that into the instance and we pick instance so that every point is getting only one from this group. And we take a value position to scale everything down. And let's increase the size a little bit. You can also make them different size using randomness. So that the average size is 3.5, but there is a variation. Okay, so that they have different size. But now, because this is dynamic, so if you play this animation, let's take a time info to the face. So now you can see there is a huge glitch somewhere. And let's increase the duration so that we can see this animation and the problems more easily. So this is the result, and the problem can be more problematic if you use the point distribute on face. And let's disable it. So let's decrease the density, maybe just 2. Then you can see the glitch only becomes worse, not anywhere better. But even if we're using the preset, it does not solve all the problem. We still have these kind of glitches. That's why we need a dynamic surface sampling technique. So as discussed in the previous tutorial, we basically need to freeze this geometry and other things. But the entire workflow is much simplified. So let's take a dynamic surface sampling. And we input the geometry, its points in this particular case, and we sample a dynamic state. So this is the plane. And if you do not have a custom frozen state, then every operation about freeze geometry is included inside this group node. And the rest is really just to put rotations into rotation. Okay, so now we have it. And it's 100% stable that you do not have all this kind of glitch we had previously. And this works without this point distributed preset, so we can use the old distribute points on face as well. So you can take that to 2. And you can see it's still working because it's frozen anyway. It's frozen inside. So previously I probably added maybe 6, 5, 8 nodes in total for this kind of functionality, but now it's kind of very simple. And once you get this kind of result, the rest is really just to change the collection. So I have a flower and a grass collection. So I just replace it. And I separate children. And I replace that into the instance. It's not working because of the scale. Okay. So these are essentially assets from Blender Foundation. And the rest is just instancing, play around, and you get this kind of result. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll probably see you next time. Bye bye.